Learn English through stories D50 PDF. Adapted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: 1. Unforgettable Lessons. 2. United we stand. 3. Grammar page. 1. 2 Unforgettable Lessons by Sudha Murty. Ananda and Kapla were landlords in neighboring villages. Both were cunning and extremely sly. They had made a lot of money by cheating and ill-treating their laborers who worked in the fields. One day, a young man named Manik came to Ananda asking for work. Ananda was pleasantly surprised. No one ever wanted to work for him because of his reputation, and here was someone walking right into his house. Manik's next few words got him even more excited. Manik said, "I will work for you for free. You need not pay me a salary, only give me a place to sleep, 2 sets of clothes and 2 meals a day." Ananda was beside himself with joy when he heard this and was about to agree, when Manik added, "I have only one condition. I will tell you the truth always, but one day in the year I will tell lies." Ananda, who lied happily every day of the year, agreed to this odd condition. So Manik joined him. He was a wonderful worker, hard-working and trustworthy. He was very honest and soon became Ananda's right-hand man. A year went by. Because of Manik's hard work, Ananda had an excellent harvest. He and his wife Mandakarni decided to have a big feast to celebrate. They invited all their relatives and friends, who gathered from all over the village and outside too. Everyone was looking forward to the delicious feast being planned. On the morning of the feast, Ananda decided he would also give away some gifts to his relatives, just to show off. So he set off for the market in his cart. As soon as he was out of sight, Manik went running to his mistress, Mandakarni. He wept loudly and beat his chest. Then he fell on the floor, sobbing, and announced, "The master is dead, the cart overturned on the road, our master has been flattened like a chapati." As soon as Ananda's wife and relatives heard this, they started wailing. Manik rushed out, saying he would bring back the body, while everyone started preparing for the last rites. Manik now went running to his master and said, "Master, your wife is dead, my kind, loving mistress is dead. A cobra bit her and she fell to the ground, as blue as the spring sky." Ananda was stunned. What? His beloved Mandakarni, his partner in all his schemes, was dead? He rushed back home, shouting her name. Mandakarni too was weeping loudly, sitting in the courtyard. When she saw her husband run in, she stopped mid-wail, and Ananda too stood open-mouthed. Then they fell into each other's arms, unable to believe their eyes. As one, they turned to Manik. "What is the meaning of this, Manik?" his master demanded to know sternly. Manik smiled and said, "Remember my condition that I would lie only one day in the year? Well, I chose today. You see what lies can do? They nearly destroyed your life. Now think what happens to the people to whom you lie every day of the year." Saying this, he walked out, leaving behind a stunned and ashamed landlord. Manik walked to the next village now, to Kapla's house. Kapla had heard all about him and was ready with his own conditions. "You will not lie, ever," he said, "and you cannot leave the farm. If you do, you will have to pay me 10 gold coins. If I want to get rid of you, I will give you 5 coins. In return, you will be given clothes, shelter, and 1 leaf plate filled with food every day." Manik thought for a while, then agreed. He began his work, and at the end of the day stood waiting for his leaf full of food. The cook came and handed him a tiny leaf, on which there were a few grains of rice. Quickly Manik produced a large banana leaf. The master did not say what kind of leaf. "I want this leaf to be piled up with food," that was the agreement. The cook had no choice but to fill Manik's banana leaf plate with rice, dal, and 3 types of vegetables. Manik took it and had a hearty meal, which he did not forget to share with the other laborers, his new friends. This went on for a few days. Manik was not at all interested in working. All day he would sit around with the other workers, telling them also to while away time chatting, and at the end of the day he would tuck into a big meal. Word soon reached Kapla and he decided to teach Manik a lesson. "Manik, I want you to change the direction of the river so that it passes through my garden," he ordered. Then he left, happy that Manik would never be able to do this and would have to leave after paying him 10 gold coins. When he came home in the evening, he was horrified to see the front wall and the front door of his house lying in pieces. "Monik," he shouted angrily. "What is the meaning of this?" Monik appeared, wiping his brow. "Why, I am making way for the river to enter the garden. Now I will go to the river and ask it to come this way." Kapla sat clutching his head. Monik had got the better of him again. The next day he summoned Monik, and just to keep him out of mischief, ordered, "Bring me the wood from 20 trees. That would keep him busy for the day, going to the forest and doing all the chopping, he thought. Monik picked up the axe and, whistling happily, proceeded to chop down the prized mango trees in Kapla's orchard. When he returned, Kapla had to admit that Monik was too expensive to keep and happily paid him 5 gold coins so that he would leave and never come back again. That was how Monik taught the 2 meanest landlords in the land lessons they would never forget. 2. United we stand. Murty and Mahidva lived in the same village. While Mahidva was a rich businessman and owned the largest shop in the village, Murty was a poor farmer. Both had large families with many sons, daughters-in-law, and grandchildren. One day, Murty, tired of not being able to make ends meet, decided to leave the village and move to the city with his family. There they were sure to earn enough to feed everyone. They said their goodbyes, packed their few clothes, and set off. When night fell, they stopped and rested under a large tree. There was a stream running nearby where they could get a drink and refresh themselves. Murty looked around and started giving instructions to everyone. He called his sons and told them to clean the area below the tree. He told his wife to fetch water. He instructed his daughters-in-law to make the fire, and himself started cutting wood from the tree. Now, on the top of that tree sat a thief, resting with his booty. He watched as Murty's family worked together to prepare dinner. He also noticed they had nothing to cook, no grains or vegetables. Murty's wife too must have thought the same thing, for she came to her husband as he sat resting under the tree and said, "Everything is ready, now what shall we cook?" Murty raised his hands upwards and said, "Don't worry, he is watching all this from above, he will help us." "But how will he help us?" "We are many. We are united. He will come down for us." The thief got worried. He had seen that the family was a large one, and they worked well together. They listened to each other and were obedient to the old man. Surely they did not know he was hiding in the branches? Were they waiting for him to come down? He decided to make a quick getaway. He climbed down swiftly when they were not looking and ran for his life. Unfortunately, he forgot his bundle of stolen jewels and money, which dropped down into Murty's lap. He opened it and jumped with joy when he saw what it contained. "Come here quick," he called out. "See, I was right. I knew God above would look after us, and he has thrown down this bundle for us. Now our days of want are over. Let us go back to the village." So the family gathered its belongings and returned to the village. There was great excitement when they told everyone the story of how they got rich. Fat old Mahidva got greedy. This was a nice quick way to earn some money. So he commanded his family to pack some clothes, and they set off as if on a journey. They stopped under the same tree, and Mahidva started commanding everyone just like Murty had done. But the difference was that no one in his family was willing to listen to anyone or obey orders. They were used to having a bunch of servants wait on them. So the one who went to the river to fetch water had a nice bath and came back. The person who went to gather wood for the fire went off to sleep beneath the tree. And Mahidva only ordered everyone about, not bothering to do anything himself. The thief had returned to his treetop. He sat there sadly, thinking of his lost bundle and watching the family underneath. He noticed the family members were greedy and selfish. They would never be able to put up a fight together, he was sure. Then, Mahidva and his wife started the conversation which they had rehearsed many times carefully. Mahidva's wife said, "Everything is ready, now what shall we cook?" Mahidva raised his hands upwards and said, "Don't worry, he is watching all this from above, he will help us." "But how will he help us?" "We are many. We are united. He will come down for us." At this, the thief jumped down from the top of the tree, a knife in his hand. Seeing him, everyone was scared and started running in different directions to save themselves. They started screaming and no one would help the other. The thief stole everything. Mahidva's wife's necklace and earrings, the greedy old man's pouch full of money, hidden under his fat tummy. Mahidva and his family returned to the village empty-handed, having lost all that they had taken with them. 3. Grammar page.